Good afternoon and blessed Sunday. I hope you and yours are taking care today. I thank you for your patience as I had to iron out a few technical difficulties this morning with my YouTube channel, but I believe we are able now to upload videos and this should be able to be viewed by you at your convenience. On this fifth Sunday in Lent, we come face to face with lament and hope. In our gospel reading from John chapter 11, we encounter Jesus as he himself weeps at the tomb of his friend Lazarus, and also demonstrates his resurrection power over death by calling Lazarus to rise and come out of the tomb. In this text, we see a paradox of both weeping and resurrection going on, grief and hope. As I know, many of us this past week too have experienced this paradox of lamentation and grief, and I pray, glimpsing new sources of hope and new life. As we all witness scenes of overcrowded hospitals or hear stories of those who have succumbed to this virus, sometimes in isolation, or grapple with continued reports of under-resourced hospitals and medical professionals, we too, like Jesus, know what it means to weep. And if you are in that place today, know that you are not alone. Our Lord, the church, and those in our society bear up with you and share in that sacred grief together. And yet, also in this moment of shared weeping, we too recognize in this text glimpses of new life, hope, and strength. As Jesus calls Lazarus out from his tomb, we also can celebrate the spirit of new life that springs forth in new and surprising ways. Through new expressions of solidarity, new forms of community, even virtually, that are happening, and ingenuity that is emerging to respond to this emergency in various ways. A few of these examples that have caught my eye this past week include a GoFundMe effort online that has basically allowed folks from around the country to contribute a few dollars to enable Subway restaurants in the city of New York to feed literally doctors and nurses on the front lines of this pandemic in that city. While Subway as a chain in New York might be out of business conventionally, it is re-employed with a deep sense of purpose to nourish the bodies of those who are tending the sick in that city in this time. There are examples of celebrities and artists who are hosting online concerts for free, or sitting down for chats with people, being in this together, making themselves available through social media with a new sense of purpose and meaning. There are those through online community that are offering new sources of mental health support and being particularly aware of those who are facing this time of social distancing with isolation and need our continued prayer and continued support to get through this time. And then there are examples of people who are sharing festivities even through online communication, through hosting virtual dinner parties and being in this together in a fun and even life-giving way. Through all these examples and others I'm sure you are aware of, we in this moment recognize that we are in this together, and that through our grief, our shared grief, and also through our joint efforts at creating and witnessing new life that springs forth when we recognize that we're in this together, we are the church at our most profound. How about you today? How are you holding up in the midst of this time spiritually and in terms of your walk of faith? I continue to celebrate that at Second Church, we reach out even through this time of social distancing, through our ministry of the Good Ground Pantry, and have modified that ministry, but continue to be a place of feeding those who are in need and offering that food assistance, even while we keep people safe and seek to abide by our public health protocols and stay-at-home ordinance in this time. That ministry of compassion continues. If you'd like more information about how you can be involved in that or what is happening with that, please drop me a note or give me a call this week. For those who are looking to continue to be connected through the ministry of the Word and the music and the sacraments, we are elevating our own presence of online worship through Facebook Live, this new YouTube channel, and also exploring ways we can enhance our website to make live streaming capabilities more convenient and user-friendly. Stay tuned as we continue to adapt and enhance our technological tools in these areas. If you're looking for something this week to do, if you feel powerless in the face of so many challenges facing our nation and our local community, I want to invite you to think about 3 things this week that can embody both this lament in the text, but also this source of new hope that Jesus gives us. Number 1, reach out to someone you know is either touched personally by this virus or is experiencing this time of social distancing in a particularly acute way. As representatives of Jesus who goes to that tomb and weeps there with those who recognized the loss and the absence of their friend Lazarus, the church in this time is called to come alongside those who experience loss and are hungry for the bread of life and are hungry for places where they can be nourished and comforted and held in a spirit of prayer and dignity. Second, find a way to put anger into action. If you are frustrated by either the lack of preparedness we see from certain actors in our government and want to not simply be angry but find something to do, connect with Metropolitan Congregations United and the work they're doing to make caring calls a bridge to advocacy in places of power and influence and governmental action happening right now in Missouri. Or find an example like the GoFundMe effort going on in New York that is linking up local businesses and a local establishment with a need going on in our medical community. Find a way to advocate and be active in responding to this need. Call our representatives, call our senators, agitate this government, let them know that the response so far has been subpar in certain ways. Make your voice known. Third, find time in the midst of this current moment of social distancing to build some new rituals and habits of spiritual practice in your life. In this adaptive and new world we are all adjusting to, this can not only be a source of disruption and inconvenience, but it might be a time for us to step back and reevaluate how our daily rhythms work and the times and places we have to connect with those we love, to connect with God through a new, simple spiritual practice, to be more mindful of the decisions we make, and to continue to live on purpose as a community of faith. Share some of your reflections through our new blog at secondchurch.net that Tim Woodcock has so graciously helped establish for us at the church. Be intentional about your own spiritual practice in this time. 3 things this week, my friends. Come alongside those who are experiencing loss and grief and weep with them, grieve with them, hear them. Find a way to turn anger into action through an advocacy effort going on both in Missouri or in agitating for change in our government around this nation right now. And also rejuvenate and reconnect with the source of our hope and strength, that is Jesus Christ, the bread of life and the cup of salvation. In the name of the Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. Amen.